Good afternoon, cardiac types. We are approaching now the halfway mark, aren't we, of the module? I bet you're wishing now that you'd listened to me early on and done your work straight away. You could have had your essay done now, couldn't you? And that's what I'm saying to everyone, by the way. It's not just you. I might not even have said it to you. So what a week! What a week it's been in, and certainly in the world of cardiac care. It's just been a groundbreaking week. What I want to do when I send you the link to this, or rather when I send you an email about this, I'm going to send you a link to two things. One is a YouTube. It's on the course somewhere, but just in case you haven't seen it, I'm going to send you a film of a BMA meeting in Leeds that took place years and years ago, where a doctor called Kendrick was given a talk on the question of cholesterol and fats, and he was arguing that cholesterol in food does not contribute to heart disease in any meaningful way. In fact, that the eating of saturated fats doesn't contribute to cardiac disease in any meaningful way. And what he used for his evidence for that, was that countries like France, for instance, which have a very high fat diet, get hardly any deaths from cardiac disease from what you can make out from their statistics. Spain's the same, Italy's the same. Whereas countries which don't use a lot of fat, Russia, for instance, the incidence of cardiac disease is going through the roof. And I think, well, this week anyway, researchers in Cambridge, they came out with a meta-analysis taking in some 600,000 people, which basically said that you can eat all the red meat you want, you can eat all the fatty foods you want, and it won't have any, well, it's not been demonstrated to have any effect on your coronary arteries. Now this turns the advice on its head, doesn't it? This turns advice on its head. It's already been turned on its head once, I remember when I was a student nurse, and right up when I was in practice, right up to the end, the message was don't eat too many eggs, and then all of a sudden eggs just disappeared. No one wanted to talk about eggs anymore. The important thing was, did you take your statin? I think we're at a similar turning point now with the question of saturated fats. There's a great book called The Rise and Fall of Modern Medicine, where a fella called James LeFanu discusses precisely this point. He said that for a long time, medicine fell for the idea that with saturated fats, with fat in your diet, by controlling fat in your diet, you'd be controlling an environmental trigger of heart disease, very similar to the trigger of tobacco and lung cancer. And he was arguing that the link was not nearly as strong. And I think we're at the point now where this might be turning into a sort of orthodoxy, that fats are not the menace that they were once thought to be. But read this stuff, read some and follow it through, and let me know what you think, because this is possibly, who knows, a revolution in the making, and it all happened this week. So what else has happened? Well, I saw Shani this week. Shani came over to see me from Aintree with an idea for a couple of ideas actually for her essay stroke article, both of which were pretty good, as I recall. Not only that, but Shani offered me, and I'm telling you others this, so that she can't back out of it later on. She said that she'd come over and would have a chat with me about atrial fibrillation, the management of atrial fibrillation in a district general hospital. That'll be an interesting story to tell. James assures me, though I've not been able to contact him properly through email, because they've changed their email system where he works. James assures me that his essay is coming. The research for his essay is coming along lovely, marvellous. Helen, you've been completely radio silent now for a while. I know you're logging on, so you're not officially on my worry list, but I like my students to be a little more, what's the word for it? I know, gobby. And not much to tell you, really. Not much to tell you. I went to a great talk last week on the subject of the history of tuberculosis. That was a fascinating one, you know, really interesting that was. Apart from that, rather a quiet week. Well, quiet to an extent. So, unless I hear from you, I will assume that you are perfectly happy. All the course materials are working great, and things couldn't possibly be better. And I'll be waiting impatiently to start seeing your drafts. Until then, arrivederci.